Hi everybody, it's Miss Lorenz. I'm going to talk through the last lesson in this unit. It's really just kind of a review of surface area, but we're looking specifically at surface area of a cube. Alrighty, so let's get started. We know that a cube in number 1 has an edge length of 5 inches, and we're asked to draw a net. So just make sure when you check your net that you are accounting for all 6 faces of the cube and that all the faces are a square. So when it says to label the sides, here I need to write inches, but as long as you're labeling the base, or excuse me, the length, the width, and the height, you're good to go. So the shape of each face is a square. The area of each face is 25 square inches, and that's because if each edge length is 5 times 5 is 25 square inches, since we're talking about area. The surface area then would be 150, because if each of these faces has an area of 25, and there are 6 of those faces, 25 times 6 is 150. And I think that just went off the screen. There we go. The volume of this cube, well, I'm going to take the length and the width and the height and multiply them together. And 5 times 5 times 5 is the same as 5 cubed, which is 125, and these are cubic inches. So make sure that you check right now that your surface area and your area of one face are both labeled with a 2 or square units, I should say, and then make sure that your volume of the cube is labeled in cubic units. All right, another cube has an edge length of 17 units, and you had to draw a net. So I tried to draw different looking nets for all of my problems 1 through 3, and hopefully you can see how I did that. So the net for this cube has edge length of 17, so 17 for the height, width, and length. So the area of each square is going to be, or each face is going to be 17 square units, because I know I'm just going to multiply 17 times 17 to get the area, and that's exactly what 17 squared means. So to find the surface area, I'm going to need to multiply that 17 squared times 6. And you could have left it just like this. That's the expression, 17 squared times 6 will give us the surface area. But I imagine some of you might have calculated it out, and if you did, you would have gotten 1,734 square units. So the expression for the volume, well, we know that the volume is the length times the width times the height, so that would be 17 times 17 times 17, or 17 cubed, and you could just leave your answer like that. That's the expression for the volume. But again, for those of you that calculated it, you would have found that it's 4,913 cubic units. All right, in number 3, a cube has an edge length S, and so here's another cube net. To write an expression for the area of each face, just remember that the side of that square is S times S, and S times S is S squared. And so the surface area would be 6 of those S squareds, or 6S squared. And we could write it like this, 6 times S squared. But when the number here is sitting right next to the letter, this number is called a coefficient. When it's sitting next to the letter, we don't actually need that multiplication sign. It's assumed that the operation is multiplication. So this would be the appropriate way to write that. The volume would be S times S times S, also known as S cubed. Alrighty, number 4. You have to just state how whether each figure is a polyhedron, and how do you know? B is a polyhedron, and I know that because the edges are straight line segments. These are not. See the curve right here at the top? So not a polyhedron. All right, and then the last one, here's a net for a rectangular prism that was not drawn correctly, and we need to explain what is wrong, and then draw a net that can be assembled into a net. So I'm going to actually fix this net in just a minute, but first I'm going to show you what I think is wrong with it. I think it's these little flaps, if you think of it that way. So if you fold this up together in your head, and you guys are way better at this than I am because of your plenty of time on the computer in Minecraft, but if you do that, you can see that this edge right here still needs to line up with that edge, and it doesn't. It's too short. And so in order to fix this, instead of drawing a new one, I'm just going to make sure that these faces are going to be long enough that they match when they're folded up, they match to that edge. And now let me just double check that I actually have 6 faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so that should work. All right, everybody. Hope that helps. Thanks for listening.